Well, hello, and welcome back to the Caffeinated Classroom. If this is your first time here, my name is Marie. I am a high school English teacher and drama teacher in Southern California, and we're gonna do a little bit of planning for the first week of school. I am a very big believer in getting students talking and doing things that they will normally be doing in class from the get-go. This year in my English class, I have American literature, which in our area is 11th grade. So that just kind of gives us a little context. I've got my notepad of paper here. I've got one of the tools that I use in class, a discussion placemat. I'll tell you about that in a minute. And we are gonna plan out our first Socratic seminar, which is going to be on the third day of school because it's the right thing to do. So here we go. And as always, I have a trusty snack. Discussion will happen on the third day of school, which is a Friday. First day of school is a Wednesday. I'm gonna turn this sideways because I already need to be able to see this. What I wanna figure out right now is what the discussion is going to be about. Like I already know how I want to format my discussion. I want to do like the whole pilot, co-pilot, wingman situation, whatever that's called. I know I talk about it all the time. I should probably know what it's called. That's how I want it to go as a full class Socratic seminar discussion. But I also want there to be prep the day before. In this part of the year, like the very first part of the course, we talk about just America's foundational documents, and we read a lot of like source text and do analysis of it. Okay, so I pulled up my unit calendar. It's a mini unit, so it's only like 2 weeks calendar to remember where I have things, just because I couldn't remember if I do. There's like a American Revolution trivia game that I like to do, and I couldn't remember if I do that on the third day of school or the fourth day of school, the Monday. I do it on the fourth, the Monday. So that's great because that means I have extra time here. So basically, first day of school, we will do the things that we do on the first day of school. I won't bore you with that right now because I have plenty of videos about that. The second day of school, we're going to do some smaller like speed dating style discussions, and we're gonna do that about content. So I think what I'll do is have students chit chat about freedom of speech. I think I will, here, let's do this. Thursday, Friday. We're just gonna do a 2-day plan. Okay, I don't need you anymore, phone. Thursday, we're going to do some speed dating about freedom of speech. And what I would like to do is I have some like little speed dating questions, but I think I want to push those a little bit into becoming like freedom of speech scenarios. So we'll start that day actually by looking at the First Amendment and breaking it down and looking at what that really means and what is actually protected and what is not protected in the First Amendment. And then we will do some scenarios, and I'll probably have like 10 to 15 scenarios, and students will rotate through like, you know, like speed dating like this. And I'll give them like 2 to 3 minutes for a discussion, conversation, and what they'll be doing. What I really want to make sure I pay attention to is what they are aimed at practicing. They are practicing listening and asking questions. So in speed dating, only one person talks at a time, and the other person has to listen and then respond. And then like the roles switch and they have to listen to the next person and then blah, blah, blah. Listening and questions, like furthering questions. That will be for the first probably 45 minutes of class, and I have a 90-minute period. And then the last bit of class, I will probably give them some more discussion prompts. And that's what I need to figure out is what's this going to be about. Maybe if I'm feeling kind of, you know, we'll talk about books and censorship. This is going to be small group discussions about censorship because it has to do with First Amendment, blah, 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 censorship. And I have, so I'll come up with some prompts, some just little discussion questions, probably like 5 of them, 5 questions. And this will build on what they had the previous year, because in their sophomore year, our sophomore team does a whole thing on dystopia. And so that's really where I'll like dig in there, is having to do like building on their dystopia stuff. And we'll talk about censorship. We'll talk about like control. It's time for another gummy bear because I'm getting excited. Now that discussion is where this comes into play. If you've been around here for a minute, you have seen this before. These are my discussion placemats. I made them hot pink because I'm like that. And basically it has instructions for kids, and it's got different roles. It's got 5 different roles. Not all of them are necessary to hold a discussion. and it describes what the roles are for the discussion group. It's got discussion norms, it's got discussion goals, and it helps students kind of stay on track and get out of that argument debate style, what they think is a discussion, which is actually just an argument, and into a true sharing and discourse. So, okay, so that will be Thursday. And then Friday, I'm gonna have a full-blown Socratic seminar, but I think it's gonna be on nothing having to do at all with anything curricular. It is just going to be, I'll probably tell them, hey, we're gonna have another all group discussion tomorrow so that students like actually pay attention and come to class ready to party. And then we're gonna have a discussion on like, I don't know what we're gonna have discussion on. Part of me wants to have, okay, so this is gonna be, I call it a team Socratic, where they've got like the one person in the middle and then the two people on the sides. If you don't know what I'm talking about, let me know and I'll explain that in another video. Team Socratic, I like to go through about 3 different questions on a team Socratic, and then each team is 3 people, so each teammate can be in the middle once. Let's have it be something having to do, let's look to TikTok. Let's see what we can find about what is cringy right now. Let's say one of these should be adults on social media. I don't know quite what the question's gonna be yet, but I know they're gonna have opinions.
And I can share more about one of them.
Girl, I do want you to share more, but not yet, because that is not what I'm looking for right now. Thank you. Oh, slang. Let's do something on Gen Z slang. I like the idea of closing out, or like maybe I even start with, how do you guys feel about adults on social media, discuss. And I'll probably give them some like short texts, videos, articles, that sort of thing to look at as they prep, and then they can have a full discussion. Maybe we'll talk about, I don't quite know what the question is gonna be, like the discussion question regarding Gen Z slang is going to be, so let's make this number 1. Number 2 will be Gen Z slang, just because I want my co-teacher and I to be saying as many things as possible to make them super uncomfortable, because I think it's funny. I know what I wanna talk about. I wanna talk about AI. I wanna talk about, is AI ethical or not? Discuss. There we go. We've got it. That'll be a good one to end on too, because that'll be like a hot button. Everybody will get into it. Perfection. I am really excited to get back into the classroom and start storying about what I am teaching. I'm excited to be showing you what is going on with this one, because this should be a very fun day full of conversation. So make sure that you're following me on Instagram so that you can see my daily classroom stories and what is going on. And if you have better ideas for me than what I was saying here, please leave them in the comments, because I'm all about crowdsourcing this stuff. Yeah, and let me know what questions you have, what kinds of planning things you would like to see. I'm gonna try to do more short little videos where you can just see the thought process of a veteran teacher in action. Cheers. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye.